Let's take a look at how we can get going with Clever Credit. The first thing that you need to ensure is that any users who will be using Clever Credit have been assigned the Clever Credit permission set. This can be found by going through the search and going to permission sets. Upon installation of Clever Credit, two permission sets will be installed: Clever Credit and Clever Config. It's best to ensure that both of these permission sets have been assigned to all users who you wish to work with the application. With the permission sets assigned, now let's move on to the main Clever Credit setup page. So again, I'm going to go into my search and I'm going to search for Clever Credit Setup. And it's just this administration option here. So first off, we have to run the get default configuration. This will just ensure that everything for Clever Credit is prepped and ready to go before we proceed. Once that's done, we can now select the setup wizard. And this will take us through step by step on exactly what needs to be done and completed in order to work successfully with Clever Credit. So the first page is an introduction, so I'm just going to select next. Then we're asked if we would like to place documents on credit hold if customers are over their credit limit or have an overdue balance. I'm going to leave that as yes. If you have selected yes, you will then be presented with a list of documents that can be subject to credit hold. In this example, I have both orders and blanket orders selected, but you can choose whichever documents you think are best to be placed on credit hold. Then we have a default credit controller. Now you can have up to 5 credit controllers. However, you must have a default. What a default credit controller will do is any customers who have not been assigned yet to a credit controller will automatically be assigned to the default. That means if you just want to get going with Clever Credit, you can just set up one credit controller and have that person not only approve, but also be able to view the Clever Credit list for all customers. If you come to this page and it's blank, if you go into the drop down on the field, you can select new and create a brand new credit controller. Or you also have the option at the bottom for selecting new credit controller, which again will just allow you to create a new credit controller, which will then be used as the default. Then we have status codes. Now status codes are used on both interactions and also on the customer ledger entries. And here we can say exactly what has taken place during a discussion with a customer regarding overdue balances. Now the ones that you can see on the screen will already be there from the default configuration. However, you can add as many as you want. Selecting next again takes me to the aging bands page. Now this is how the Clever Credit list is going to be broken down. This page does have a limitation, so you can only have a maximum of 6 aging bands. And again, the aging bands that you see here are the ones that are created through the default configuration. Let's go through the examples that we can see. So the first band is called Not Due. This will pick up any customer ledger entries that have a due date of in 1 day's time to in 10 years' time, as they're not yet due. Then we go to 30 days. That will look at any customer ledger entries that have a due date of 30 days in the past to today's date. And you can also see that that trend continues. If you find that any of these gaps are too large, you are more than welcome to amend the period starting and period end dates. And there you go. So once you're happy with everything, you can select Finish in the bottom right hand corner. And that will now mean that Clever Credit is ready and set up to go. There is one final thing that we do need to take a look at, and that is the customer card. Upon installation of Clever Credit, you will have a brand new fast tab that appears on your customer card. Now, everything that we did in the previous section of the video was a global setup, meaning that it will apply for all customers. However, if you do have particular customers that you wish to exclude from credit hold, exclude from overdue hold, then you do have these options here. You also have an option for credit hold all documents. That means that even if the customer doesn't have an overdue balance or hasn't gone over their credit limit, we're still wanting to hold all of their documents. We also have the overdue credit grace period. Now that will add on top of the due date, which will mean that balances that will previously show within a particular aging band may be delayed, which can be particularly helpful if you do have a customer that does pay, but maybe they're always 1 or 2 days late. On the right hand side, you have the credit controller field. Remember again that if this is blank, then this customer will be assigned to the default credit controller. However, a nice field to populate is the credit control contact. Now here we can decide who is the credit control contact at a particular customer. That contact information will then show on both Clever Credit Interactions and Clever Credit To Dos, so you can ensure that you're always speaking to the correct person. So as you can see, Clever Credit is very easy to get started with.